Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. We begin in the name of Almighty Allah, the most magnificent, the ever merciful. We glorify Him, we praise Him, and of course we elevate His name as He ought to be elevated. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Once again, I extend to you the eternal and of course the universal salutation of peace. May the peace, blessings, and mercies of Almighty Allah be upon you and yours. A most pleasant good morning going out to you on this beautiful, beautiful Friday morning. Of course, we are now coming towards the end of another week. We are heading towards the weekend. We've got the holiday period coming up. As always, I do pray and hope that you are healthy, you are well, you are enjoying a period of happiness and prosperity as well. I'm your host and brother in humanity, Imam Safraz Ghani, here in your company on this auspicious and holy day of Friday, the day of Jum'ah here in Trinidad and Tobago. Of course, I take the opportunity to say to you, Jum'ah Mubarak, may the blessings and the mercies of the Almighty enshroud you always. I also take the opportunity as well to say a very special thank you going out to Pandit Shivan Haripasad for his previous rendition. And of course, as you always tend to do here on the program, we definitely do wish him a safe and a speedy trip back home. All praises are due to Almighty Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the magnificent, the merciful, Master of the Day of Judgment. O Allah, it is you do we worship, and from you only do we ask for help. Guide us to the straight path, the path of those upon whom you have bestowed your favor, not the path of those who have evoked your anger, nor the path of those who have gone astray. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Well, today's Islamic date is the 28th day in the month of Jamadul Ukhra, which of course is the 6th month on the Islamic calendar. We are currently in the year 1447, which basically means that tomorrow evening, which will be the 29th day, Saturday evening, we'll be looking for the moon to bring to an end this particular month. If the moon is sighted, the new month, the month of Rajab, will start on Sunday. If the moon is not sighted, we'll have one extra day of this particular month, and then thereafter we'll have the new month starting on the Monday. So that basically kicks off the period leading up to the month of Ramadan, because when this month comes to an end, we get into the month of Rajab, which is the 7th month, and then there is the 8th month, and then the month of Ramadan is of course the 9th month on the Islamic calendar. So very quickly we are counting down the weeks now, or the month I should say, leading up to the holy month of Ramadan next year. Today also coincides with the third Friday in the month of December for the year 2025. May Allah continue to bless you with goodness in everything that you do. On that note, as we are now getting ready to commence the holy day of Jum'ah here in Trinidad and Tobago, allow me now to take the opportunity, of course, to officially welcome you live on air, live on the internet, live across our social feeds on Facebook and on YouTube as well for this weekly program titled Soul Inspirations. Your program for inspiration, information, education and entertainment. Definitely do keep it locked on. I've got lots to share with you as we continue on with this particular hour together.
الصبح بدا من طلعته والليل دجى من وفرته है नूर साहर चेहरे से तेरे और शब की रौनक जुल्फों से अल्लाहु 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 अल्लाह अल्लाहु 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 अल्लाह कंजुल करमी मौला निअमी هادي الأمم لشريعته नेमत का खज़ीना है मौला गंजीना है रहमत है आका हादी है الله 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 سعد الشجر نطق الحجر شق القمر بإشارته انگلی کے اشارے ویر چلے حجاز سے پتھر بول اٹھے اور چاند ہوا ہے دو ٹکڑے انگشت کے اشارے سے اللہ 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 جبریل أتى ليلة أسرى والرب دعا في حضرته جبریل امی پیغام خدا لے کر آئے تھے شب اسرا اللہ 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 فوسيلتنا هو سيدنا والعز لنا بإجابته الله 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 لا إله إلا الله.
Soul Inspirations on 103.1 FM, brought to you courtesy Nisa Brand Products Limited, Point Fortin Hardware Limited, Absolute Investments Limited, Adams Project Management Construction, and TriniLink Solutions. You are listening to Soul Inspirations.
Yes, indeed, you are tuned in to Soul Inspirations right here on 103.1 FM with yours truly. And as always, I must say it's indeed an absolute honor and, of course, a personal pleasure to be in your company for around about the next hour or so. Of course, you can send me a message via the WhatsApp number 2994103. Alternatively, you can shoot me a message via the social feeds on Facebook and on YouTube as well. Well, on the program this morning, as we always tend to do here on 103.1 FM, we've got a very, very enthralling segment lined up for you. Just in a short bit, literally just around the corner, we've got our short inspirational segment coming up. We've got the early morning call to prayer lined up as well. I've got a few beautiful Islamic selections coming your way as well. And of course, a bit later on in the program, we get into our short lecture segment. And this morning, I'll be talking about the importance of reconciliation. And I think that's a concept that we need to tend to pay a little bit more attention to in this current era. The importance of reconciliation. That's our talking point, our discussion point this morning. Once again, thank you so much for the pleasure of your company. It's always a pleasure to have you on board with us here on 103.1 FM. Jummah Mubarak going out to you as well. May the peace, blessings and mercies of Almighty Allah be with you.
مولاي صل وسلم دائما ابدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم مولاي صل وسلم دائما ابدا على حبيبك خير الخلق الخلق كلهم سحر کا وقت تھا معصوم کلیاں مسکراتی تھیں ہوائیں خیر مقدم کے ترانے گنگناتی تھیں ابھی جبریل بھی اترے نہ تھے کعبے کے منبر سے کہ اتنے میں صدا آئی یہ عبداللہ کے گھر سے مبارک ہو شہ ہر دو جہاں تشریف لے آئے مبارک ہو محمد مصطفیٰ تشریف لے آئے مولایا صلی وسلم دائما ابدا علی حبیبک خیر الخلق کلهم نہ کوئی آپ جیسا تھا نہ کوئی آپ جیسا ہے کوئی یوسف سے پوچھے مصطفیٰ کا حسن کیسا ہے زمین و آسماں میں کوئی بھی مثال نہ ملی مولایا صلی وسلم دائما ابدا علی حبیبک خیر الخلق کلهم دلیل زندگی وہ ہے کامال بندگی وہ ہے کوئی بھی دور ہو اس میں معراج آدمی وہ ہے وہی تو دین دنیا ہے جو باتیں آپ نے کہیں مولایا صلی وسلم دائما ابدا علی حبیبک خیر الخلق کلهم کوئی بھی بات ہو ہر حکم ان کا معتبر ایسا کہ ان کا ہاں نہیں کہنا بھی ہے قرآن کے جیسا حدیث پاک کہلائیں جو باتیں آپ نے کہیں مولایا صلی وسلم دائما ابدا علی حبیبک خیر الخلق کلهم سلام اس پر کہ جس نے بے کسوں کی دستگیری کی سلام اس پر کہ جس نے بادشاہی میں فقیری کی سلام اس پر کہ جس کے گھر نہ چاندی تھی نہ سونا تھا سلام اس پر کہ ٹوٹا بوریا جس کا بچھونا تھا درود ان پر سلام ان پر یہی کہنا خدا کا ہے خدا کے بعد جو ہے مرتبہ صلی اللہ کا ہے وہی سردار عالم ہے وہی غمخوار امت ہے وہی تو حشر کے میدان میں سب کی شفاعت ہے شفاعت کے لیے سب کی نظر ان پر لگی ہوگی مولایا صلی وسلم دائما ابدا علی حبیبک خیر الخلق کلهم مولایا صلی وسلم دائما ابدا علی حبیبک خیر الخلق کلهم
Allah's blessings and mercies to you and yours on this wonderful, wonderful Friday morning. Jummah Mubarak going out to you and yours. May the blessings and the mercies of the Almighty be with you always. Of course, as we look forward to another day in our lives, as we give thanks for the gift of a brand new day, sometimes it is always good that we pay attention to what is taking place right now in your life. In some instances, we tend to dwell in the realm of later. You know, I'll talk to you later, I'll call you later, I'll see you later. We'll walk later, I'll tell you everything later, and we leave everything for later. But in some instances we forget that later does not belong to us. Later our loved ones are no longer with us. Later we don't hear them, later we don't see them, and later they simply just become memories. Later the day becomes night, the force becomes helpless, the smile becomes a grimace, and later on, life becomes death. Later itself becomes too late. So whatever is important right now, try your best to get it done right now. Don't delay, don't leave it for later. And never ever underestimate the impact that you have on the lives of other individuals. Your impact on others is way bigger than you think. All you can do is try your best to be a good individual, and that in itself will send a ripple effect within your life and within the lives of all of the individuals who will come into interaction with you. So try your best to remain grounded, try your best to keep that connection with the Almighty, develop your spiritual side, and I can guarantee you all in life will fall in place. And of course, I just want to take the opportunity to remind you that you can send me a message via the WhatsApp number 2994103, or alternatively, you can send me a message via the Facebook feeds as well. Well, coming up in just a short bit, we've got our inspirational segment. Definitely do keep it locked on. You're listening to Soul Inspirations right here on 103.1 FM.
Inspirations on 103.1 FM, brought to you courtesy NISA Brand Products Limited, Point Fortin Hardware Limited, Absolute Investments Limited, Adams Project Management Construction, and TriniLink Solutions. You are listening to Soul Inspirations.
Yes, ma'am.
So this morning, I want to share with you a crucial piece of wisdom and an important life lesson. Never in haste jump to the wrong conclusions about anything, and never take any hasty actions without thinking of the consequences of that action. In the end, it will only give you unfavorable outcomes. Take your time, whatever you do, to think things through, and don't ever give in to the emotions. Before doing any action, before saying anything, think of the consequences of those actions and those words. Only after you have thought it through, then you have the opportunity to respond. Like they say, haste makes waste. And this is a good principle to remember, because you literally waste your time regretting your losses, which are based on hasty actions, hasty words, and of course, wrong conclusions. And I want to highlight that point this morning. I want to highlight that very important piece of advice by sharing with you this very, very simple anecdote. So a farmer and his wife were blessed with a son, and they chose to provide him with a mongoose as a pet, as a friend, and of course as a protector as well. A few months later, the parents had to leave town, and they had to leave their son at home because they had to go out. So the farmer reassured the frightened mother that the infant would be taken care of properly by the mongoose while they were gone, and that they had absolutely nothing to worry about. So the farmer's wife, she arrived back home before her husband did, and straight away she discovered that the mongoose's mouth was covered in blood. Immediately she became frantic, and she started screaming at the animal, accusing it of killing her child, and so on and so forth. And of course, in a fit of rage, she flung a large stone at the mongoose. She ran towards the room in search of her child, and to her surprise, she saw that the child was unharmed and still sleeping quietly in the cradle. On the floor, however, was a dead snake which was bitten to pieces. At that moment, the farmer's wife realized that the mongoose had actually saved her son's life. She understood that in order to save the child, the mongoose attacked and killed the snake. Now, realizing a terrible mistake, she then rushed back to the mongoose, only to find him dead by the wound that was inflicted upon him by the stone. The farmer's wife cried aloud as she then realized that she had killed the loyal mongoose that was definitely loyal to the life of the child. The moral is quite simple. Don't perform hasty actions. Think before you act. And the loyal mongoose is a story with a strong moral lesson. It shows that any action should be backed by rational thought. The consequences might be very painful, might be very hazardous when you do something without thinking. If only the farmer's wife had taken the time to think things through. If only she hadn't allowed the emotions to get the better of her, she would have then realized that the blood on the mouth of the mongoose was not that of the child, and she would not have killed the loyal mongoose. There is no point in expressing remorse once the bullet has left the gun, so to speak, once the action is done. So therefore, you must think before acting. Don't act and then think. Indeed, this is a vital aspect of our lives that often goes unnoticed because sometimes they can have significant consequences. The most important aspect of not being hasty and not jumping to conclusions is that you keep your emotions intact. In today's world, it's absolutely crucial to pause, to reflect, and to avoid making rash decisions. At times in life, you will find yourself in situations where you are required to make judgments, you are required to draw conclusions, or you are required to make decisions without having all of the necessary information at hand. In these instances, your natural inclination is to fill in the gaps with assumptions, to fill in the gaps with stereotypes or preconceived notions. You rush to judgment, oftentimes leading to misunderstandings, leading to conflicts, leading to missed opportunities for growth, and so on and so forth. However, it is important to recognize that hasty decision making can have severe consequences, both personally and professionally as well. When you make decisions hastily, without taking the time to fully evaluate the situation, you run the risk of overlooking crucial information. You might miss important details. You might fail to consider alternative options, or you then may ignore potential consequences. And this can lead to poor choices that will have far-reaching effects on your life. One of the primary ills of hasty decision making is the increased likelihood of making mistakes. When you rush through the decision making process, you are more prone to errors in judgment. When you make choices without careful consideration, you often experience a higher possibility of regret later on. And taking the time to gather the information, taking the time to consider all of the alternative options and to reflect on the possible and the potential outcomes, that in itself will allow you to make more informed choices that will then align with your long-term goals. So the big question is, why is it essential to resist this urge to be hasty and to be impulsive? Well, first of all, you fall prey to incomplete information. When you hastily jump to conclusions, you oftentimes overlook vital information that can change your perspective entirely. Number two, you fall prey to stereotyping and prejudice. Quick judgments often stem from stereotypes or prejudices that you hold, and these biases can cloud your judgment and can prevent you from seeing the true nature of a person or of a situation as well. Number three, you fall prey to damaged relationships. Impulsive conclusions can damage your relationships, both personal and professional. When you rush to judgments, you make misinterpretation of someone's intentions or actions, leading to unnecessary conflicts and of course strained interactions. Number four, you fall prey to missed opportunities. Quick decisions without thinking can cause you to miss out on valuable opportunities. When you hastily conclude that something is not worth pursuing or that someone is not capable, you close yourself off to potential growth and success. So the next question is, how can you avoid being hasty? And how can you refrain from jumping to conclusions all the time? Well, let me tell you, it's absolutely imperative that you engage in active listening, that you seek different perspectives, that you gather sufficient information, and that you embrace patience before you jump to any conclusion or before you make any decision about any important aspect of your life. In chapter 49, verse 6, Almighty Allah mentions, O you who believe, if a troublemaker brings you any news, investigate, lest you should harm a people out of ignorance, and then you become regretful thereafter for what you have done. So in conclusion, being mindful of your tendency to be hasty and quick to jump to conclusions is essential for personal growth, for harmonious relationships, and effective decision making. By actively practicing patience, by seeking diverse perspectives and gathering sufficient information, you can become more open-minded, you can become more empathetic, and of course you can become more wise. Remember the old saying, haste makes waste. Let this be your mantra every step of the way. Resist the urge to rush into things and embrace a more thoughtful, a more deliberate approach to understanding the world around you. Well, at this point on the program, we now go to the early morning call to prayer. The early morning call to prayer is being brought to you this morning through the kind courtesies of Absolute Investments Limited of Monroe Road in Kinupia.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي
Soul Inspirations on 103.1 FM, brought to you courtesy Nicer Brand Products Limited, Point Fortin Hardware Limited, Absolute Investments Limited, Adams Project Management Construction, and TriniLink Solutions. You are listening to Soul Inspirations.
ہم تیرے بنا اب رہ نہیں سکتے، تیرے بنا کیا وجود میرا، ہم تیرے بنا اب رہ نہیں سکتے، تیرے بنا کیا وجود میرا، تجھ سے جدا اگر ہو جائیں گے تو خود سے ہی ہو جائیں گے جدا، اب تم ہی ہو، بس تم ہی ہو یا ربی، بس تم ہی ہو، چین بھی میری ہر خوشی، میری زندگی بس تم ہی ہو یا ربی، تیرا میرا رشتہ ہے کیسا، ایک پل دور گوارا نہیں، میرا صبح شام بس ہے تیرا، وقت میرا بس آپ کا ہے، کوئی لمحہ میرا نہ ہو تیرے بنا، ہر سانس پہ نام تیرا، اب تم ہی ہو، بس تم ہی ہو یا ربی، بس تم ہی ہو، چین بھی میری ہر خوشی، میری زندگی بس تم ہی ہو. My Lord, you have come and seen me, I was lost and found now, you made love so easy. My Lord, keep me on the straight path, you're my one and only, بس تم ہی ہو، تم ہی ہو، بس تم ہی ہو یا ربی، بس تم ہی ہو، چین بھی میری ہر خوشی، میری زندگی بس تم ہی ہو.
حسبي ربي جل الله ما في قلبي غير الله نور محمد صلى الله لا إله إلا الله حسبي ربي جل الله ما في قلبي غير الله نور محمد صلى الله لا الہ الا اللہ. وہ جو بلال حبشی ہے سروردی کا پیارا ہے، وہ جو بلال حبشی ہے سروردی کا پیارا ہے، دنیا کے ہر عاشق کی آنکھوں کا وہ تارا ہے، وہ جو بلال حبشی ہے سروردی کا پیارا ہے، دنیا کے ہر عاشق کی آنکھوں کا وہ تارا ہے، ظلم ہوئے کتنے اس پر سینے پر رکھا پتھر، لب پر پھر بھی جاری تھا لا الہ الا اللہ. حسبی ربی جل اللہ ما فی قلبی غیر اللہ نور محمد صلی اللہ لا الہ الا اللہ. حسبي ربي جل الله ما في قلبي غير الله نور محمد صلى الله لا إله إلا الله अपनी बहन से बोले उमर ये तो बता क्या करती थी अपनी बहन से बोले उमर ये तो बता क्या करती थी मेरे आने से पहले क्या चुपके पढ़ती थी अपनी बहन से बोले उमर ये तो पता क्या करती थी मेरे आने से पहले क्या चुपके पढ़ती थी बहन ने जब कुरान पढ़ा सुन के कलाम पाक खुदा दिले उमर का बोल उठा ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह हस्बी रब्बी जल्लल्लाह मा फी क़ल्बी ग़ैरुल्लाह नूर मुहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह
Sometimes in life we feel helpless when we're alone. There's so much darkness, but we forget what Allah taught us, that we are strong when we help each other. This pain that you feel, we all feel this pain the same, and we will be standing here together forever. No matter what life will throw, we can conquer if we stand together. So let's stand together forever, inshallah. Oh Lord, as long as you're with us, please, then all our pains worth every penny. Each day and night, let's pray to our Lord that we can fight all forms of sorrow. This pain that you feel, we all feel the pain the same, and we will be standing here together forever. No matter what life will throw, we can conquer if we stand together. So let's stand together forever, inshallah. What you're feeling has a meaning, so keep believing. Let's talk healing. Oh ma, do not worry, your tears are heard by the Almighty. This pain that you feel, we all feel the pain the same, and we will be standing here together forever. No matter what life will throw, we can conquer if we stand together. So let's stand together forever, inshallah.
Yes, indeed, I think the message in that particular rendition is straightforward. We can basically achieve anything that we stand together. Once we stand together, we can achieve anything. Like they say, once you stay connected, once you develop that level of unity, you can literally move mountains. Welcome back. I'm yours truly, Imam Safraz Ghani, host of this weekly program titled Soul Inspirations, your program for inspiration, information, education, and entertainment on this beautiful Friday morning. As we now get into our lecture segment, just as a reminder, you can send me a message via the WhatsApp number 2994103, or you can shoot me a message via the social feeds as well. So this morning, I want to talk about a concept that has the power to heal relationships. It has the power to build stronger communities and to even restore nations as well. And that concept, quite simply, is reconciliation, the power of reconciliation. Now, reconciliation is more than just saying, I am sorry, or more than just accepting an apology. It's about restoring trust, it's about acknowledging harm, and it's about moving forward together. Whether in personal relationships or workplaces or even within societies, sometimes we find that the fabric is torn apart by conflict, and the process of reconciliation can be profoundly transformative. But why is reconciliation so important? Why should we even care about it when it's so difficult? Well, simply because reconciliation is a bridge from pain to healing, a bridge from separation to unity, a bridge from the past towards a shared future. And I came across a very interesting anecdote that literally supports that concept. So there was a tornado one day, and a very large oak tree was uprooted by the winds and thrown across the field. It fell among some grass. After falling down amongst the grass, the tree addressed the grass, saying that it really does amaze me that I am mighty and strong, and I have been toppled by these high winds. Yet you are so light, you are so weak, and you are not entirely crushed by these strong winds. How is that even possible? So the grass replied that you fight and you contend with the wind, and consequently you are then destroyed. While we, on the contrary, we bend before the last breath of air. We bow down and we submit ourselves to the wind, and therefore we remain unbroken. The moral is quite simple. If you want to conquer, you will have to stoop. You don't always have to fight fire with fire. Sometimes, in order to preserve life, it is better to concede, it's better to yield, and to back down. The power of reconciliation, it can induce a shift in mindsets, and it can transform harmful attitudes. It can build bridges between opposing parties. It can help to repair fractured relationships. It can help break the cycle of violence. It can aid post-traumatic reconciliation, and it definitely will build a much more peaceful and positive future for each and every single individual. So forgiveness is part of the process. Forgiveness is part of the process of healing, and letting go is part of the process of reconciliation. When two people are angry with each other, each side feels hurt by the other and would like to receive an apology. Unfortunately, many people believe that they lose the battle by admitting that they have hurt another person. So neither side apologizes, and then the mutual resentment continues indefinitely. It is important to remember that you do not lose the so-called battle, so to speak, by apologizing, by humbling yourself, and by admitting that you have been hurting the other person. As a matter of fact, you win. And so does the other person as well. So the big question is, what exactly is forgiveness? We all have a lot of misconceptions about forgiveness. For example, that it means being weak. We think in our minds that if we forgive, we are weak. It means not demanding justice. Forgiveness means excusing reprehensive behavior or letting oneself be treated badly. I can tell you quite clearly, it's not any of the above. Forgiveness means to cease to feel resentment against someone or something. And I'll repeat that. Forgiveness means to cease to feel resentment against someone or something. And I can tell you, it's a very, very empowering concept to know that you can regain your sense of self. You can wake up each day without reliving the past, even though you won't forget about it. Almighty Allah reminds us in the Quran, but if you pardon and overlook and forgive, then indeed Almighty Allah is most forgiving. So forgiveness is indeed a key element to reconciliation. Reconciliation is not a weakness. It is one of the greatest acts of courage a person or a society can undertake. It doesn't erase the past, but it transforms how you carry it. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, mentions, show mercy and you will be shown mercy. You will be forgiven by the Almighty. Reconciliation is extremely important on various levels. On a personal level, reconciliation is crucial for emotional and mental well-being. Reconciliation delivers inner peace. When you hold on to resentment or guilt, you carry a heavy burden. Reconciliation delivers healthy relationships in family circles and friendships and partnerships. Conflict is inevitable, but reconciliation is what preserves the strengths of those relationships after conflict. Reconciliation delivers personal growth as well. Reconciliation is just as crucial in our communities. Why? Because it builds trust. Without reconciliation, divisions begin to grow, misunderstandings become stereotypes, and wounds deepen. In the atmosphere of our communities, reconciliation helps to prevent the cycles of conflict. It helps to encourage accountability. And on a larger global scale, reconciliation is essential for peace building and justice. On a global stage, reconciliation opens the doors for healing historical injustices, for building inclusive societies, and most importantly, for sustaining peace throughout the world. So let us be absolutely clear, reconciliation is hard. It often involves admitting wrong. It often involves facing painful truths, letting go of pride, letting go of your ego. But avoiding reconciliation comes at a much greater cost. We are talking about broken families and friendships. We are talking about divided communities. We are talking about perpetual injustices. We are talking about the cycle of violence and revenge and so on and so forth. Reconciliation is difficult, but division is deadly. And despite the challenges, reconciliation offers hope. Reconciliation literally says that you are not defined by your worst moments. Your relationship is worth fighting for. The past may hurt, but the future can heal. So whether you are a student, a leader, a parent, or even a general citizen, you have a role to play in the concept of reconciliation. Remember that reconciliation is not a weakness. It is wisdom and it is strength. It is not the end of the story, it's the beginning of a new one. And in a world that often encourages division, which often encourages cancellation, reconciliation offers something radical. It offers the possibility of healing. So in closing, I invite you today, in your relationships, in your community, in the nation, to be a peacemaker. I invite you to be a bridge builder. Because reconciliation isn't just important, it is essential for every individual in order to live the type of life that we all aspire to live. And it is absolutely essential for the kind of world that we want to live in as well.
Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak. It is Friday, this is the best day. Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak. Waking up in the morning, got the special Friday feeling. Getting ready in my best clothes now. My juba looking crisp, going all out. Jumping my ride to the masjid. Hearing the khutbah, it's a blessing. Now we're standing in the saf and we're praying. Then I greet our kids with Assalamu alaikum. Friday is here and it is the best of days. When we go to the masjid and we all pray. There are blessings on this special day. Thank you Allah, thank you for this day. Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Jumma Mubarak. It is Friday, this is the best day. Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak. Friday sunnahs on lockdown, looking fresh with my miswah. Reading Surah Al-Kahf on a Friday and sending salawat on the Prophet, peace be upon him. Friday is here and it is the best of days. When we go to the masjid and we all pray. There are blessings on this special day. Thank you Allah, thank you for this day. Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Jumma Mubarak. It is Friday, this is the best day. Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak. We all get this special day to change our ways, to cleanse our hearts, a brand new start. And don't forget that hour of Sa'at al-Istijabah, where prayers are accepted from our Allah. Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Jumma Mubarak. It is Friday, this is the best day. Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak.
Soul Inspirations on 103.1 FM, brought to you courtesy Nisa Brand Products Limited, Point Fortin Hardware Limited, Absolute Investments Limited, Adams Project Management Construction, and TriniLink Solutions. You are listening to Soul Inspirations.
Yes, indeed, you have been listening to Soul Inspirations right here on 103.1 FM with yours truly, Imam Safraz Ghani. But unfortunately, it's that time of the program where we now look to drop curtains on this particular hour. Of course, I want to take the opportunity to say a very special thank you going out to our listeners and, of course, our viewers and our social feeds as well. Thank you so much for joining us on the program this morning. Special thanks, special salams and greetings going out to you and yours, and to all those who would have messaged on the program locally, regionally, internationally. May the peace, blessings of the Almighty be with you always. Of course, it was indeed an absolute pleasure to be in your company over the past hour or so. By all means, you can catch me next week Friday from 5 a.m. as we bring to you another segment of Soul Inspirations, your program for inspiration, information, education and entertainment. I also wanted to take the opportunity as well to extend to you an open invitation. Today I've been invited to conduct the Jumbah service at the Santa Cruz Mosque. So if you are in the area, you can most definitely pop down. It will be a pleasure to meet and greet with you as well. Well, I'm your host and brother in humanity, Imam Safraz Ghani, signing out for this morning. Until next week Friday, please do have an extremely blessed day, a blessed weekend, a blessed week. Until next week, please do have an extremely blessed day. Stay safe, stay in the mercy of the Almighty. Much love, and may the peace, blessings and mercies of Almighty Allah be with you. Up next is News at 6, followed by Prabhat. Most definitely do keep it locked on to 103.1 FM for more inspirational and motivational programming throughout the course of today. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
लब पे आती है दुआ बन के तमन्ना मेरी, लब पे आती है दुआ बन के तमन्ना मेरी जिंदगी शम्मा की सूरत